We have been discussing about two fundamentally different thought process, the schools of thought in macroeconomics, which are classical school and a Keynesian school. And we said that to understand these two different schools, we need to sort of have some building blocks, and we need to have some conceptual clarity on terms like sticky price, flexible price, short run, and long run. So we explained the sticky price and flexible price, and here we will talk about the short run and the long run. Now, when I say short run or long run, say let's say when I'm talking about short run, do I really mean a time period? Like, is it like a year, or is it like a month, or is it like a week, or is it like a couple of years, or is it a day? So, what really a short run means in terms of the time period, you may ask. And I'll answer to this as that, well, there is no specific time period attached to a short run, but rather we should understand short run in terms of certain behavior in the economy. Okay, so there are certain attributes in the economy which will explain if the economy is in the short run or not. So let us try to see what are the attributes that we are talking about. The first and fundamental thing that differentiates short run from long run is that the prices are sticky in the short run. That's the most important, attribute in the short run. So let me write it down. Prices are sticky. Okay. Now, what that means? So that means prices do not change. I mean, even if other factors are changing, prices do not change. And why is it so? Because all right, um, companies can't change price so immediately. Okay, and I'll talk about it. So prices are sticky in the short run. Now all the prices may not be sticky, of course. For example, if you go to the petrol pump every day, the petrol or diesel price is changing depending on the market fluctuations. But if you want to buy a Parle-G biscuit, your Parle-G biscuit will always cost you 3 rupees or 5 rupees, whatever is printed on the on the packet. So, so we can think sticky price in terms of the prices of Parle-G biscuit. So they are always sticky. Even if there are some fluctuations in the market, they will not respond to it. Now, the second attribute about the short run is that supply curve, and which is very important, supply curve is horizontal, horizontal, horizontal to x-axis. That's basically a direct sort of consequence of the first point that you just said. So let me just draw it before I actually go on to explain it. So when I say supply curve is horizontal to x-axis, so it means that, well, this is the supply curve, and I call it aggregate supply curve. And for this is the curve for the entire economy. So instead of price, I will write a price level, because as if it is a price level for the entire economy. And here instead of Q, I will write, total output, basically total output in the economy. Okay, now I'm claiming here that the aggregate supply curve, AS is my aggregate supply curve, it is sort of the price is constant. Because the price is sticky, price is constant, so the supplier would supply in different quantities at the same price. That's the whole idea. Now you can think of it as if like there are certain price tags attached, what I said, on the packet, and the supplier cannot change the price tag in the short run. Okay. um, so how does supply respond to demand? So if my demand curve is like, say, I have my aggregate demand curve here. Say there is a demand shock, and aggregate demand curve shifts from 81 to 82, and if that shift is happening, so what will happen is my initial Q1 would change to a Q2 new, and because of this, um, my supply curve is actually overall supply is actually responding to demand, right? So and at the cost of, basically the prices are going to remain same, right? So let me write down. So let's say point 0.1, point 0.2, point 0.3. Supply does respond to demand. So how the farms really do this adjustment when they move from Q1 to Q2, or if the demand is actually curve is shifting to the right side, where farms need to produce more, how they really do the adjustment. So all right, so basically you have to understand this is a short run phenomena, and here um, if they need to reduce the production, what they can do, farms can lay off, okay, lay off in the short run if they need to reduce the production, or can deploy additional resources, say unutilized capacity. Often farms do have some unutilized capacity, or use additional resources. So they don't really invest in capital or anything. They can only change the variable component of their cost, right? So we have learned it in our microeconomics, or use additional resources to sort of to do the adjustment, to do the adjustment. All right. Okay. Um, so the implication to it is that, say if, so let me write down implication. Say if there is a, say if the demand curve shifts right left, if the curve shifts left, what will happen is output falls and unemployment rises, okay, and vice versa, and vice versa, okay, and vice versa. So that's about the short run, and this in fact, when the demand curve is shifting to left, this in fact is basically, this leads to recession. But we'll talk about all this later on. Let us now go back to the long run. Okay, so in the long run, again, the first thing that you have to remember is in terms of the price, and I will say prices are flexible here. So what I mean by prices are flexible, so all your fixed cost, variable cost, the prices of the product, the wages, everything is variable. Okay, everything is variable in the long run, and that has a very important implication, and which is the supply curve is vertical on x-axis. Okay, let us draw this and we'll explain what is happening here. So exactly, it's a totally different phenomena than what you have seen in short run. So here, short run aggregates, long run aggregate supply is, so in fact, one thing you can always, we do write is, this is long run aggregate supply, and previously we wrote AS. So it is short run aggregate supply, SRAS and LRAS. Okay, that you will find pretty often these terminologies are being used. So this basically means long run. So what it means is that the prices will change here, yes, but the output, the quantity produced will not change, right? So that's a very interesting phenomenon. Why is it so? You should ask. And the answer, to answer your question, I will say that, well, so in the long run, economy is running is running with full capacity, with full capacity. So you are actually deploying all the human resources, labor force basically, and all the capital that you can invest to sort of make the economy running with its full capacity. And when economy is running in full capacity, economy does not have any additional way to sort of produce further output. If even if the demand is high, or economy does not, or the firms do not sort of lay off the manpower because the prices are flexible now, so they can always play with the price. Okay, so what is happening here is that economy is running in full capacity, and so adjustment is only with price, only with price. So I'll write down, okay, different points, supply is vertically full capacity, right? So the adjustment mechanism, so okay, let me write down, I'll make it point 4. Adjustment mechanism is only with price and not with output, not with output. So here, demand curve does not influence the total output. Demand shift does not, oh, this is point 5, does not influence the output produced in the economy. Output in economy, right? And here, unlike short run, we don't have any unemployment, changing unemployment um, because of changing demand. So no, unemployment is constant. Let's write down. It is constant, and that's basically, we can also write it as an implication. Perhaps let me write down as an implication. Implication: unemployment is constant. Prices are flexible. Prices are flexible. Flexible, and output is constant. It's constant. All right. So only difference between short run and long run is that we have the major difference is the flexibility of price. So in long run we have flexible price. In short run we have sticky price. And one more point, if anything in between, so if we have both flexible price and sticky price, say both flexible and sticky price, which is say flexible and sticky price, which is a phenomenon in the medium run, say there is a medium run. So in that case, my medium run, in that case, my supply curve will be like normal supply curve, upwardly sloping supply curve. It will behave accordingly. Okay, so we'll have my aggregate supply curve and my demand curve, aggregate demand curve in the in the medium run. Okay, so that's how, and it will behave just like the supply curve and the demand curve does. Okay, so that's about the um, in the medium run phenomena. Okay, so this is basically the short run, long run, and the medium run.